Sup guys, your boy Quick Stocks is back with the financial knowledge to help you become an everyday millionaire. What if I told you there was an investing strategy that requires a very basic understanding of financial investment? An investment strategy in which you can rest easy knowing that you're going to outperform a majority of your friends. You'll outperform real estate, bonds, collectibles, precious metals, all on a historical average. Or have you ever considered owning Microsoft, Apple, Amazon, Google, Facebook, Intel, Netflix, Pepsi, Costco, Nvidia, PayPal, Charter? Okay, maybe not Charter, but Tesla, Starbucks, Qualcomm, and the list goes on. In case you haven't caught on yet, I'm talking about the Nasdaq 100, which of course allows you to buy into a piece of the top 100 largest and most liquid tech companies. Just so that you can sound smart in some trivial conversation, when people refer to the Nasdaq, they're referring to the Nasdaq Composite Index, which consists of more than 3,300 companies. So, the Nasdaq 100 is securities issued by 100 of the largest companies listed in the Nasdaq stock market exchange. So before I get into why I think the Nasdaq 100 could potentially be the best purchase that you will ever make, I'm going to show you how to buy it. So there's a few ways to buy the Nasdaq 100, but the most common way would be buying an ETF like Q or QQQ, which is an exchange-traded fund that tracks the Nasdaq 100. In the last 10 years, QQQ has seen a 17% compound annual return, which is absolutely insane for any investment, let alone one that only requires you to park your money in. It's not a house. You don't have to worry about repairs. It's not a spec play with tremendous risk. You don't need to analyze companies or their earnings. If you're young enough and consistently make small contributions into the Nasdaq 100, historically speaking, you will become very wealthy, and people are going to look at you like you're some kind of investing guru. Obviously, if you like being an active trader, if you enjoy researching companies, I'm right there with you. But the power and simplicity of the Nasdaq 100 should not be taken lightly, especially for beginners. Seriously, for anyone who has minimal investing knowledge,
if I could offer you only one tip for the future,
sunscreen would be it. I mean, if I could offer you one tip for the future, the Nasdaq 100 would be it. A real heart-to-heart here. I try to make investing interesting. I crack a lot of jokes, which certainly does not help my credibility. However, you really have to look into the Nasdaq 100. Your old ass will appreciate it. And back to our regularly scheduled content. Just to give you an example of the power of the Nasdaq 100, if we had a participant that we will call Billionaire Bobby, if our boy Billionaire Bobby would have invested $1,000 into the Nasdaq 100 10 years ago, in which we've already stated has seen a 17% rate of return in this period, our boy Billionaire Bobby would have nearly $5,000. Not bad. But now, let's say Billionaire Bobby invested $1,000 every year for 10 years into the Nasdaq 100. Billionaire Bobby would have $31,000. Now, let's get really crazy and say Billionaire Bobby put $1,000 every year for 40 years into the Nasdaq 100. This number will be a bit padded because I'm not going to change the interest rate, which I suspect over a 40-year period would actually be closer to 10 to 12%, but this is all hypothetical. Anyways, our boy Billionaire Bobby would have well over $4 million after only investing 40 grand of his own money. Our boy Billionaire Bobby might not be a billionaire yet, but he's doing pretty good for himself. Now let's take a look at how the Nasdaq 100 has stacked up against some other popular companies. So let's keep this simple. The blue line is how the Nasdaq 100 has performed in the last 5 years versus our comparison. So as we can see here, in the last 5 years, the Nasdaq has seen a 66% increase, whereas Walmart has only seen a 41%. Next, we have Ford. So once again, our boy, the Nasdaq 100, has seen a 66% increase, whereas Ford has seen a 64% decrease. FedEx, seeing a 35% decrease after a few disappointing years. Alright, time for a big boy comparison. The Dow Jones, the overall market benchmark, coming in with only a 30% increase in the last 5 years. Whereas the Nasdaq 100, of course, has seen that 66% increase. And just to be transparent, of course, there's plenty of companies that have well outperformed the Nasdaq 100. And that's why I like studying companies, to see if I can find a deal. But that's something you're going to have to ask yourself. Are you honestly committed to checking annual reports in 10Ks? If you are, right on. I'm right there with you. And if you don't want to, no judgments here. Spend your life doing whatever you enjoy. Just put your money in the Nasdaq 100 and sleep sound knowing you'll be outperforming your crazy stepdad who always has the latest and greatest investing advice. Hopefully you liked the video. I tried to keep it as quick and entertaining as possible with such dry content material. We'll get back into quick stocks tomorrow. Until then, I'll catch you guys later. So it only seems right to see how much our boy Billionaire Bobby needs to invest to be a billionaire by the time he turns 80. So if Billionaire Bobby is 20 years old and dead broke, if Bobby wanted to be a billionaire by the time he turned 80, so currently he has $0, he would have to add $120,000 for 60 years to be a billionaire by the time he turns 80. And that's assuming a 12% return. Oof. Yeah, that's a lot of money.